This is an Amazon Kindle. This is a paperback book. One of these isn't going to do its job anymore. Can you guess which? I'm kidding. Do its job is a bit of a vague statement, but I'll explain shortly. This is an Amazon Kindle 4th generation, and Amazon are going to cut it off. And this comes from a story from Engadget. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. If not, just Google Engadget cutting off Kindle, and it'll probably come up in one of the first results. Either or one of the other sites that covered the story will. So this is a story from April the 8th, and it's basically, the headline is, Amazon is cutting off support for older Kindles. Users can still read books on the devices, but they can't purchase or download new ones. To read the story quickly, if you're using an older Kindle, you may want to check what year it was released. Amazon has sent out emails to some of its users, with a warning that it's discontinuing support for Kindle e-readers and Fire tablets released in 2012 or earlier. Now you're probably thinking, 2012, that's a long time ago. And yes, it is, but that's not the problem for me. You can still read books you've already downloaded on those devices, but you'll no longer be able to purchase, borrow or download new ones starting from May 20th, 2026. In addition, if the device has an issue that can only be resolved by a factory reset, doing so will brick it. Deregistering it will also render it unusable. On Kindle Fire devices, users won't be able to purchase or download content anymore, but the services would remain functional. The affected models include the very first Kindle, Kindle 2, Kindle DX, Kindle Keyboard, Kindle 4, Kindle Touch, Kindle 5 and the very first Kindle Paperwhite. Engadget asked Amazon why it decided to cut off support for those devices, and the company told us these models have been supported for at least 14 years, some as long as 18 years, but technology has come a long way in that time. Amazon also told Engadget that this only affects approximately 3% of its current users, whom it's now urging to upgrade. In its email, it gives them a promo code for 20% off select Kindle devices, as well as ebook credits if they purchase a new model by June 20th. Our newer Kindle devices bring meaningful improvements in screen quality, performance and accessibility, and you'll have access to your complete Kindle library and the Kindle store. Technology moves on for most of us. I know it does for me as well. I have bought new technology, and lots of us do. We buy new mobile phones when we need them, new other things when we need them. But the beauty of the Kindle was in this form, it's a single purpose device. It's an e-reader, and I get that technology has come a long way, you know, with better screens and performance and accessibility, but performance, I'm reading it's an e-ink display. The only performance I need it to do is turn the page or select a book. I don't want it singing and dancing at me. Accessibility, yeah, you know, okay, yeah. Later Kindle models, I believe, can do text to audio, but this, I can increase the font size, which is, to me, one of the most, if I'm reading, that's probably going to be the thing I want to do most. Yeah, I have looked at the Paperwhite. I like the idea of a backlit Kindle, and not in the same way that your phone backlights, but a gentle light that helps you read it in bed, you know, like without keeping you awake. And yeah, I get it. All of these features are in later Kindles, but this one does the job I bought it for, and I guarantee you that the 3% of people still using these older Kindles, Kindle tablet aside because it's a tablet, these older e-readers are still rocking the original e-readers that they bought because they do the job for which they bought them. They want to read a book, they can read a book on the Kindle. Today, I spent an hour of this morning going through my Kindle library and realising how many books I've bought over the life of the Kindle and how few of them I've actually read on the Kindle. And I started downloading them onto this just to be on the safe side. Now, this feature says you can still read books you've already downloaded, but you'll no longer be able to purchase, borrow or download new ones. Now, I don't know if that means books I've never downloaded before, like weren't on the Kindle. So I thought to myself, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to download my whole library onto the Kindle and hope for the best. I have a few comic books in my Kindle library, it turns out, that I'll have used on my very old iPad. It's an iPad Mini 2, I think it is. I could do with updating that as well. But again, that does what I want it to do. I'm not updating something just for the sake of updating it. And even now, looking at Kindle prices now, so let me have a look. Right, full disclosure, I bought this Kindle on eBay many years ago. I wasn't overly enthused by the idea of a Kindle. I was reading books at the time, but printed books. And I've gone back to this. I have more printed books now than I've had in maybe the past 10 years, just because I got rid of so many books and then decided to buy more. So yeah, I bought that on eBay, and you know, I have thoroughly enjoyed using it. There was a time when the only thing I would read is the Kindle, and from time to time I still pick this up and will take it out with me on the regular to read when I'm out. But by the same vein, I've got a lot of printed books that I can read, and there is something joyous about picking up a printed book and reading it and putting the bookmark in to denote where I am. One of the reasons I wasn't a huge fan of the Kindle is I find it difficult to read information from a computer screen and retain it. The Kindle, I don't have that bit, and I'm aware that is a me problem, in that I think the reason why I find it easier on the Kindle is because it's e-ink. It looks a bit more like paper. It's not a backlit display. It just feels more like a book, even though it's a digital product. As well, the battery lasts for ages, even now, even on this model. And when was the Kindle 4 released? I'm sure I've done a video on the Kindle before. Let me have a look. This Kindle 4th generation was released in 2011. It's physical buttons, 2 GB of storage. It does have Wi-Fi connectivity, and I can read PDF and text on it. So yeah, you know, it's what, a 15-year-old device now, but the battery still lasts. The screen's still good. It still does what I got it for, which admittedly was to test out whether I liked e-books, and it turns out I don't mind them. If I look at it now, if I look at if I have a look at the Amazon listing, let's go and buy a Kindle, shall we? You're watching me type at an odd angle. So you're looking at the newest generation of Kindle. This tells me it's £95. This is for the... Go away, everything. Decline. This is delivered by Amazon. It'll arrive next week. Amazon Kindle, lightest and most compact Kindle with glare-free screen, faster page turns, adjustable front light and long light battery life. Okay. Faster page turns. Admittedly, it's you know, like fractions of a second on this, my 2011 Kindle. You know, it's not like I'm having to wait a day and a half for the page to turn. It's not downloading the page on dial-up. Faster page turns. Front light. I like the idea of the front light. I like the idea of the adjustable light. 16 GB with ads. I don't want ads. This doesn't have ads. I know technology's come a long way, but ads isn't part of that technology. Reading a book. Admittedly, I don't know how the ads work. It may be that you just see them on the home screen, but in my mind, I'm thinking as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi, you get to the end of a chapter and a 90-second unskippable ad plays. It probably doesn't. I'm probably catastrophizing there. Oh, you can do it without ads as well. It adds an extra tenner to the price, £105. It's available in black or green though, or rose. Oh no, that's the cover. It's available in black and matcha green. Oh joy. Yeah, great, there you go. Do I want one? Maybe. I have thought about replacing this Kindle a number of times, and every so often I do look on eBay to see how much a Paperwhite would set me back, and I've never pulled the trigger on it because I've looked at it and thought, do I want to spend another 40, 50, 60 quid on an e-reader when the one I've got still works? You know, it's not like I get to the end of a page and I get a battery warning. In fact, today I charged this up specifically because the battery was flat. That was the reason for charging it up, but specifically to download books onto it. I haven't used it in a couple of months, but the last time I used it, I know I got weeks out of it. And that suited me more than anything. That's, you know, that was the great thing about this. You know, I could leave it for a week or two, pick it up again, and the battery was still good to go. I'm sure the same is the case with these new ones, but this Kindle still does the job I bought it for. And there have been, yeah, just there was a BBC story about anger. Let me see if I can find it, because yeah, users, Amazon to end, right, this is the BBC article. Devices affected, e-waste concerns. The challenge is that these devices were built for a different era and not equipped to run newer, more data-hungry services. This is Paolo Pescatore. But Pescatore said older devices using the ability to connect to the newer set products and services can also turn a once seamless device into a more limited offline tool. Hugo Valori, co-director of Restart Project, which encourages repair of electronics, said manufacturers' promises of newer devices offering better performance when ceasing support for older products has been seen before. However, that's hardly a good reason for soft bricking millions of still functioning devices. This could amount to 2 million devices rendered obsolete, according to some estimates. 2 million! Potentially generating 62.4 tonnes of e-waste. That's the thing with this. I could understand it if it was being replaced by something far superior. But despite all of this, technology has come a long way, it's still words on a page, even digitally. It's not like you're picking, it's not like I would buy a copy of The Exorcist for Kindle and the film would play in a small screen at the bottom, a small window at the bottom of the screen. Also, I mean, I have dabbled with Audible before. I have the Audible app on my digital audio player. And that's how I listen to stuff. I'm never going to be in a position where I'm going to think to myself, right, I'll listen to a chapter of the audiobook and tomorrow I'll just pick up the book and I'll pick up the Kindle and continue reading it. I either listen to an audiobook or read the book. I don't dip in and out of one format or the other. Yeah, it's the same with Game of Thrones. I'm not about to start Game of Thrones Season 2 on Blu-ray. I think to myself, I'm going to listen to it on audiobook, this one, and I'll skip the next chapter, and then I'll come back. But I might read it in comic book format, and there's the print book as well. It's not how I consume books. That's a bit of an extreme way of looking at it, but technology's come a long way from words on a page. This is a user who said, this is Katie Aaron-Ricks, who told she was surprised by Amazon's announcement about the sadness that came with the thought of potentially losing full use of her 14-year-old Kindle. I'm in the same position. It does show how much of a part that Kindle plays in my life. She said, adding, it had allowed her to take all of my books with me when working and travelling. I love paper books like anyone does, but the Kindle is more practical. Kay said she was also concerned about the presence of adverts on some newer discounted Kindle devices and how these might affect the reading experience. It's about taking yourself away from reality and disconnecting from advertising, marketing, social media and all of those things that we're surrounded with in life. That's quite true. When I'm reading a book, I don't pick up my phone and look at social media. That's eBay telling me something there. There you go, you see. Yeah, I don't pick up my phone and look at stuff on it. I'm in the moment with my book. It's the same with these graphic novels. It was the same with the Kindle. It was less so with the iPad, because occasionally I did find myself, oh, I'll just have a look at what's happening on Instagram. With these, I'm in the moment. With these, I'm in the moment. And that's not the feeling. So I don't want adverts. I don't want the new technology. And this isn't me saying it because if you've watched my older videos, you can see that I'm a fan of retro tech. This is just from a practical point of view. Words on a page. Technology's come a long way from words on a page. It really hasn't. I keep going back to that thing because that's the thing with this. I wouldn't mind if it was so much, right, we're stopping you downloading, we're stopping you buying new books for your Kindle. You'll still be able to download your old ones that you've purchased before. We'll keep that pipeline open. It's only 2 million of you that it's going to be affecting, apparently. But Amazon, I'm going to guess, are a big enough, rich enough company to be able to keep that pipeline open. I mean, they've got technology coming out of their wazoos to be able to do it. Will they? I've seen a couple of commentators say it'll depend on the response from the consumer, because we have seen it before. We've seen, I think PlayStation was going to shut down one of their shop fronts for one of their old consoles, and they did they did an extension on that. But the idea of you can access this stuff, but only if you've got newer technology for an e-book. Yeah, and they were doing so well as well. They did that thing that said that you could download your books. Rights permitting, you could download your books and put them on other things. They were doing so well. Now this. Will they change their mind? I don't know. I don't think that's going to need a factory reset. In the time I've had it, I've never had to factory reset it. I'm hoping it doesn't break. Will I buy a new one? You'll probably find out in a future video. When I say newer, it'll just be newer than 2012, and I'll go through this again in the next few years. Anyway, that's it. That's my rant over. That's my rant over. In fact, yeah, what can you say? Like, share and subscribe to this video if you want to see more. I don't normally rant. But yeah, thanks for watching if you got this far. If you didn't, thanks for watching wherever you stopped, even though you won't see this bit. I'll catch you again next time.